Horror Lies.
Hey guys, Rob from Georgia here with you. I'm your Wednesday evening host here at BodyBags. It is week 370. It is random week. It is October. It's our month, right? This is Christmas time for us, right? And the temperatures are starting to get cooler here in Georgia, and that is a good thing. But it is random week, and it is the week that precedes Label Week, which this month we'll be looking at Wild Eyes, so that ought to be fun. But man, it is it's going to be a great month, man. It's going to be a great month. It is random, and that means probably most likely, well, it is Italian week for me again. And compliments of one Lamberto Bava, son of the great maestro Mario Bava, and his film A Blade in the Dark, as it was released here in the U.S., 1983 film. Is it giallo? Is it slasher? Well, it's a movie that somewhat embraces both here, and that was what was starting to begin in 83, right? The influence of the American slashers is starting to be felt in Italy. But out of that will come some really freaking great freaking movies, man. I'm telling you, one of my favorite, all-time favorite slashers, aside from, of course, Stage Right, opera. There's just something about that freaking movie, man. But anyway, so Lamberto, this is an interesting movie. Compliments of 88 films, of course, and it is a movie that really is grounded in the writing of Dardano Sacchetti, probably my favorite Italian writer who's worked for freaking everyone. The great Mario, Lamberto, Fulci, Dario. I don't know who he hasn't worked for. Diodato, Killer Crocodile 2. Dude is a freaking writer, man. He's a freaking writer and a half. I love freaking Sacchetti. I love freaking watching all of his interviews. You know, anytime I get a new film that has an interview with him, I just dig down and just watch and listen, man, and learn. So, 88 release, A Blade in the Dark, scored by the DeAngelis brothers, which is really cool. I mostly know them from, of course, Alien 2 on Earth, The Last Shark, maybe the mother of all shark films, right? But this is a really cool freaking score, man. This movie does get freaking creepy at points. It's got the first-time cinematographer Badagali. I think that's how you say it. I probably butchered it. But this is his first film, but he'll go on to continue to work with Lamberto and shoot Demons and Demons 2. He was really known for his underwater photography work. I do believe he'll do some work in, I think, Inferno. I think he does some work there. Surprisingly, way down the road, he'll actually do underwater photography for that movie Popeye with Robin Williams, which is pretty odd. Strange film, but fun film. And some great special effects from Corridori. He'll get his work early on in some of the Italian spaghetti westerns like A Fistful of Dollars, but he'll go on to work on Zombie. I'm trying to think. Even The Godfather Part 3, which is interesting, and Cliffhanger, and of course the one I mentioned a little earlier, Opera. He'll be in there working with as well. So it's definitely, man, it's definitely got some freaking talent here, man. This movie is interesting. When he originally conceived, this was conceived for I read both 4 30-minute episodes on Italian TV. I've also seen it where it was 27. I'm not sure which it is, but it's interesting. So 4 30-minute episodes, each one culminating in a spectacular death, and then of course the last final episode culminating in the great reveal. Who's been doing these evil deeds right across? And that is so. I am not going to touch. This is the giallo aspect that does shine. Maybe more in what is left to the imagination. There's not a lot of explain. There's a few nods at movies like Psycho, at the end when there's a bit of explanation as to the motivation or what was really psychologically what was going on with the killer. There's a little bit of that going on. There is also a little bit of a film within a film, which is interesting because Lamberto will really, I think, go to great lengths and produce something really cool with that film within a film in Demons and Demons 2. sometimes I think the film within a film in Demons is more interesting, or I wish it could have been expanded upon. That film, man, looks like a film that could have freaking rocked. Demons does rock, but I love this concept of a film within a film. And in this case, this movie within a movie, it really lays the beginning foundation of not just who our killer is, but really what's maybe potentially going on inside their head, what's driving them, what's motivating them, what are the flaws that are suddenly surfacing. So you get this guy, right, Bruno, who rents out or leases out this villa. It is a pretty wealthy, or large, beautiful villa or estate, where he will compose a composition for a brand new horror film for this director named Sandra. Now, while he sort of moves into there, and Sandra's putting the finishing touches on this film that she's working on, what you sort of begin to learn a little bit is that our antagonist has suddenly been brought out of the shadows as a result of this film, and how this film is portraying, I guess, this person's tragic, some trauma that happened in this person's life. I'm trying to be really super careful here. So the film within a film is really important, not only to setting the initial atmosphere, but even as you move along throughout and you ultimately arrive at the very end of the film and you're starting to see and figure out. It's one of those films that it's probably not going to take a lot of people to figure out, well, who may be our main antagonist. But I'll say this, and I don't know if Bava was influenced by either Black Christmas or maybe even, I hope I don't get my years way off, but Angst. I don't know. This killer, by the end, when you finally get the reveal, and not even the reveal, but there's a moment, there's one scene when the killer gets one of its victims. I'm trying my best. I mean, is it a he or is it she? It gets pretty confusing here. But there's a moment when we see the killer act in a very almost psychotic, almost animalistic way where it really does tend to get under your skin a little bit and creep you out. And then we get to the end and the reveal and the last final moments that our antagonist is on screen. It is, it feels almost like a little bit of a nod to Psycho, but it's definitely its own, and it has a few moments where it really does get creepy. Now, I will say this, the dubbing is absolutely horrible, and so you got it, with Italian cinema, the dubbing is the dubbing anyways. This one in particular, the dubbing is it's hard to initially bypass, but once you do and you really start finding that groove in this film, there's a lot to be admired, especially when you get to the finale and the reveal. And like I said, though, more is left to your imagination. But so I'm really curious what this experience would have been like if you would have actually got to see it on TV and watch like 30 minutes. You have your spectacular kill. You're sort of left there, man, going like, what the freaking crap? And then, the next 30 minutes ends in a spectacular kill, and by the time you get to the fourth final installment, you get your reveal. And man, I think the payoff would have been freaking great. I think it really, really would have been great. And you sort of get that vibe a little bit. Of course, they had to edit and sort of, get it ready for a theatrical release instead of physical media release. So we never really get to see it in the original format, which is a shame. But because it was shot for television, it was shot 16 millimeter, but blown up to 35 for the theatrical presentation, which is interesting. It's the boiling gore. There's I'll just say the bathroom scene. There's a bathroom scene when a girl gets in there and the killer comes in. That does get pretty freaking violent, and I guess the reason they didn't make TV was the violence factor, and if anything probably took it over the edge, it probably was the bathroom scene, I would imagine, more than any other. that really does get just a little disturbing. It's all shot in one location at this villa. Apparently, the producer had just bought this piece of real estate, had this estate on it, and so he invited Lamberto to go ahead and film the entire movie there. And so, there is continuity in terms of just the fluidness of the shooting, the cinematography. The estate that they're in is pretty creepy, man. The hallways are nice and long, gives you some nice long shots down the hallways. Spacious enough for the camera to comfortably come around, and there's just a fluidness with the cinematography here. This is a contained film, but at the same time with giallo, with definitely giallo strands or whatnot. But it also feels open, and maybe that's just the space inside the estate. I'm not sure, but it is an interesting film. And this is, I'll just say, this is one of those movies. Even if you're like pretty well into Italian giallos, the great ones, Dario's great ones, and some of Fulci's, you may put this in and start and maybe like, what the freaking crap? I don't know. I'm telling you, this is a movie that works on you, and the more you dig into it, there's a lot to appreciate in this, I think, in Lamberto's effort. And this might probably, Macabre is first, but this may be the closest he comes to his dad's footsteps, and it's still a big space away. His dad, Mario's Mario, right? But yeah, Blade in the Dark. Have you seen it? When's the last time you checked it out? It's October. It's a great time to go recheck it out. I'm pretty sure it's either Prime or Shudder. I'm pretty sure it is. Or, there's the 88 release of this. And I will say the interview with the cinematographer, man, is really freaking awesome. Plus there's a Q&A with Bava, which is pretty cool. Other than that, there's not a lot of extras in here. It's a pretty slimmed down release by 88. But the interview with the cinematographer is really freaking good. Really good. So in week 370, some more Italian fare. This time compliments of Lamberto Bava and his giallo slasher. No, I guess the pun is intended. Blade in the Dark. Some good stuff, man. It is some good stuff. But later this month, man, I'm going to be taking a look at some Dario I've never reviewed before, some Fulci I've never reviewed before, so be looking forward to that. Appreciate the views, appreciate the comments left, just the interaction, appreciate just the support for BodyBags. Just keep plug into each and every day as each and every one drops. Some good stuff, and what a freaking great theme week last week. There's some really great reviews that were dropped last week if you've missed any of them. Especially, I'll just say Brad's on Saturday was really, really fun if you haven't checked that one out. But anyway, so here we are. And it is football. Georgia won coming out of the gate. Scary at first, but they pulled it together. Bills are looking pretty freaking good. So, of course, we always end these things, right, with go freaking Bills.
This is not a dream, not a